Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Portal Masters, Robert Welkney here of CoinOpTV. It's the end of 2016, and we wanted to crank out one more CoinOpTV, a live show to share with you awesome CoinOpTV subscribers. And as a special treat, I have a special guest. It's Brylander from PortalPowerTV. Good day, sir.
How are you doing, Rob? Appreciate you having me on.
I'm doing good. The timing of this couldn't be greater. We were just chatting 2 seconds before the show about PortalPowerTV reaching 30,000 plus subscribers. Yeah. What is that? Is that like a molten lava cake at Chili's, or what's the celebration for 30K sub?
When it first hit 10,000, I was like, oh man, I've got to make a video. This is great. And then it hit 20, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't know where to stop. It's kind of a whirlwind, so I'm almost not even sure what to think.
Yeah, you're definitely. Here's a little screenshot. So I took this last night. We were setting up for the show. You had 29,836, and then overnight things have pumped up over. Now it's I think you got about 30,000 plus or something like that. So if you didn't know, Brylander has his YouTube channel PortalPowerTV, which has been going for a few years now. He's been doing a lot of gameplay, unboxing, collecting, chase videos. But the thing that really changed things this year was doing his Skylanders Imaginators Creation Crystal. I call them sort of tribute. What do you call them? Sort of reimaginations?
The series is called Imaginators.
Okay.
So I just recreate Imaginators. So Imaginators, I kind of the same way I put Brian and Skylanders together to make Brylander. So I'm kind of big on mashing words together.
Yes. Now let me give some quick shout-outs. We are live. So shout-outs to Toy Movie Game Bros, Connie, Brandon, Christian, Sean. We see a few other people jumping in chat. Just, behave, don't troll, don't spam. I don't want to give anybody time out. So what we're going to do with this episode of CoinOpTV Live is we're going to... what I did is I grabbed 5 images. It's the PortalPowerTV's top 5. They're most viewed... Reimaginators. Am I saying that right? Reimaginators. Yep. I gotta think about that because even when I say Skylanders Imaginators in my head, I have to think about that as well. So cool. And I love your collection behind you on the wall. You got some awesome chase variants and smile on your face. So I'm glad to see everything is going well. All right, let's get started. Let's start with number 5. Of course, if you guys haven't been watching the Skylanders Netflix show, Skylanders Academy, then you don't know who Sai is. But for those of us Portal Masters in the know, Sai is sort of original character that was made for the cartoon, and this is the 5th most popular original creation on your channel there. So let me show a graphic. Okay, so now I'm showing a graphic of the Portal Power TV version. So take us through a little bit of how you delved into this one.
Well, Sai actually, was there in Skylanders Academy, the game, the Netflix show, and was voiced by Dan, the Diamond Minecart, TDM. And it was funny because I saw it in the cartoon, and I said, well, heck, that would be so cool, to try to remake him. And then, next thing I know is that Activision actually sent Dan, the Diamond Minecart, a 3D print of Sai, the guy he voiced in the show. And I said, well, heck, let me try to build that myself and see if it works. And I wanted to chirp it out for everybody so they could have it in their creator apps. And, that video just exploded. Of course, half of the comments in there is everybody telling me that the character was voiced by Dan, TDM. And I'm like, well, I know, but... It was really fun, and it was one of the first real big explosive videos that I did.
Yeah, that was a good one, and it's funny because when we first heard about the casting of Skylanders Academy, we didn't know who Dan was going to be voicing. So now people have gone back to my old video where I'm announcing the cartoon, and they're like, "Oh, you're such a dummy! You didn't know Dan was Sai and this and that." It's like, dude, that was like a year ago that we were talking about that. So now the cat's in the hat. We all know. We all know. Yeah. So now we know how to create them. We got the chirp. So yeah, this one looks good. So this was you started with the Earth quick shot, right? That's the
right.
So do you know ahead of time which sort of battle class and element you're going to use?
Usually, I usually will use my iPad and the creator app itself and pre-design them, just so that I know what's going to work before I start trying to make a video with it. And then it kind of helps me build it when I'm doing the video, because I can do it as like a recipe book. Look back and say, okay, what did I use when I built it, and just make sure all the parts are going to work before I don't spend a half an hour trying to decide what head I'm going to do or use when I'm making a video.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Let's see. We got James TH, Cruisefire, and PlayStation News Monkey Flop jumping in chat, and Lewis. Shout out to all you awesome Portal Masters. All right, let's move on to number 4 would be Marvel's centerpiece character, Iron Man, which is... Here's the original we're looking at here, sort of, well, one of, Iron Man has seen many iterations, but sort of the classic shiny red and gold is kind of his iconic look, and now I'm showing the PortalPowerTV's rendition of a tech sorcerer class there. So what went into this? Are you a big Iron Man fan? Are you Team Iron Man? Is that the thing?
Yeah, I do like Iron Man, and I was thinking, okay, well, the parts I could already kind of recognize from playing the game that certain parts were there, and again, this is one of the first characters. Well, let me just see if I can actually build this guy, and I had to decide, okay, well, Iron Man obviously is tech, because he's all gadgets and stuff like that, so that made sense. And then the hard part to decide was, okay, sorcerer. I don't like the fact that you have to have a staff and with all the sorcerers in the game, but it was the only one that allowed him to fly, and so that's why I ended up choosing sorcerer for Iron Man. But then all the parts went together and got them colored up, and sometimes it doesn't even look remotely close until you start coloring them, and the color really is what brings them like from 25% to 100%, or somewhat closer.
Yeah, you did a great job of the color scheme there. I mean, look, matches pretty good. Let's see, in chat, Starlene says, how long does it take to recreate the characters as Imaginators? Is there sort of an average that you've been finding out?
Yeah, a lot of them will take me, 15, 20 minutes to initially design them, because I'll put them together, and then I go back, and after I got them all together, I start trying to see, all right, well, this is the head I'm currently using. Can I find one that looks better once everything is colored up? And sometimes I do find a better part, and I'll replace it. And sometimes, it just confirms that this is as close as I'm going to get. So usually about 15 to 20 minutes.
All right, awesome. In chat, Monkey Flop says Team Hulk. I guess maybe when the Thor movie comes out, we'll be saying Team Hulk versus Team Thor or something. All right, let's move on to. So this is your third most popular creation is Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy, and. Here is, I don't know if this is original. When you search some of these images, you get so many deviant art things, so I'm not sure if this is original, but it looks like the original character. But let's move in and show your PortalPowerTV rendition here, which is an undead, and we can see he's got the top hat there, sort of like with an axe. So so tell me a little bit about the genesis of this. What battle class did you use, and how'd you go about creating this one?
Well, I mean, I'm not a huge Five Nights at Freddy player, but I know a little bit about the series, and obviously the characters are all basically were killed and put into these animatronic characters, and so I'm thinking they're dead, actually. So undead was kind of the element that I chose for that, but and then just with the size and what Freddy is, he usually doesn't have any weapons to speak of, but he does jump out and attack you, and I just decided to make him a smasher. And this is one of those characters where, Skylanders Imaginators doesn't actually have all of the parts to really make it, a home run. So, I got as close as I could with the parts that were available. And, you look at it and say, okay, I can kind of see what you were trying to do. And I think more than anything, it was just the fandom of Five Nights at Freddy was what drove the views on the video, is that people saying, well, hey, let's just check this out and see how good you did. And I got a lot of people, saying, "Hey, it looks great," and a lot of people saying, "Oh, that looks horrible." So, what can you say?
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, for legal reasons too, they probably had to kind of limit certain things from being like exact, Because I've actually emailed with eWay back and forth some of these pictures that some of your characters and some of the other ones I've seen out there. Because I did last month, or a couple weeks ago, I did a Marvel specific one where I featured your Black Panther and stuff, and we kind of joked with eWay's one of the developers over there at Toys for Bob, and I was like, hey, is this all legal? Is this a gray area and stuff? And we kind of joked about that. So yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I think it's great that you're opening up sort of a dialogue on your YouTube channel about about being creative and kind of opening the door to some of these other franchises that are out there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like you mentioned, there's other people that are starting to recognize that it actually is just as much fun to have to try to recreate a character as it is, dreaming up one of your own. And both use imagination. I mean, you've got a character that already exists, and trying to use your limited resources of parts that Skylanders Imaginators has, and said, let's, how do I make this? It's like a puzzle. So for me, it's challenging. If you're making your own character, it's like, well, okay, what the heck? I'll just pick this head and whatever. And you still can design it the way you want to, but you have more creative license. And here you're trying to make it look like something else. And, I think the whole legal, side of things is that these don't come out looking exactly like who they're intended to replicate. But it's nothing more than fan art, in a way. And so fan art's not illegal. And I'm sure there's, some people that might want to say that you're pushing the boundaries, but again, it's not an exact replication and anything like that. And I'm not having 3D prints made of them or anything like that. So
I'm still waiting for somebody to create my CoinOpTV robot. That's what I'm waiting for. In Skylanders Imaginators. So
you need to do that.
I'm so bad. I still have so many things unlocked. Like whenever I go in and do like a live stream when I'm creating things, I'm like, oh boy, there's like a million things I still need to unlock and get. So I mean, do you have everything unlocked pretty much?
I do in my Wii U version of the game. I actually had gotten my hands on that game a little early. Walmart screwed up, and so I had already collected so many parts in that before the game released widespread, that it was hard for me to stop what I was doing and then say, let me start completely over with my PlayStation 4. So most of my creations are on my Wii U because I have all the parts. The only one, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when you get to my number one, is I had to cheat a little bit and go borrow a part from a friend. So other than that, I have all the parts except for the Wasteland stuff, which is what you get by beating Chaos on Nightmare mode.
All right. So there you go.
So
yeah,
that's the only thing I haven't done.
Let's see. We got a few more people jumping in chat here. Frynut Gamer, Frynut Sky Gamer, Alpha Blitz, Henry jumped in chat. Says, "Hey, sorry I'm late. That's okay. This will be archived as well on the channel." So all right, let's move on here to number 2. It's always difficult to get to like the top 2. The drama and the excitement. I feel like a drum roll in my head. But number 2 would be the Sans from Undertale. So here's. Again, it could be an original, could be a DeviantArt picture, but it's a cool picture here. So it's a game I don't play, Undertale, but I know it's really popular. And then here is your creation with the another undead creation here. So let's talk about Sans. Are you an Undertale person?
No, my daughter is, and she's got the game on Steam, and that's where I learned a little bit about it. And I did have to kind of pull up a picture and try to mimic that. And what's funniest about this character in this video is more than all the other videos that I made is I've got more comments telling me how bad my version of the character is, but yet there's 1,000 or so plus comments on the video, usually telling me that doesn't look anything like Sans, or the voice I got wrong, or something like that. And it's like, well, I tried. And it was funny because this particular character, he's obviously a skeleton, and there's really only one skull head that Skylanders Imaginators has. It just doesn't look like Sans. And so, build it the closest you can, and that's move on to the next guy, I guess.
So was your daughter, did she approve of it since she's a fan of Undertale?
I actually, like I said earlier, I make most of them in my creator app, and what I'll do is I'll show it to her. And if within a few seconds she can just guess what it is right without me having to tell her, then I said, okay, I can make a video with this one. So that's usually, she's kind of my sounding board or my test to see if I did good enough with it or not. But she got it. She could look at it and say, oh, well, that looks like Sans. Not exactly, but I can tell what you were trying to do, kind of thing.
All right, that's a good thing. So there's a tip for you Portal Masters if you're trying to figure out if your character looks good. Just grab somebody, if you're on the bus, grab somebody next to you on the bus and just say, hey, look, does this look like anything? And then you can decide if you want to commit to to a video. Man, my sun, usually like the sun is coming in and like my light is really bright, but for some reason it's been really cloudy. I feel like almost like I'm a skeleton from Undertale the way my my lighting is coming in. I apologize to you guys. Hey, Striker here, Camos in chat, and Ramir Williams, you guys are here just in time. We're gonna reveal the #1. This is like the most viewed. Is this getting close to 1 million yet on this video?
It's at 867,000 right now.
Woohoo, man! Will this be your first million if this hits a
Yes.
million? Oh man! All right, I'm excited. All right, so #1 is Marvel's mischief guy here, Deadpool.
Deadpool.
The Merc with a mouth. And here's I'm pretty sure this is a non-DeviantArt original here picture of Deadpool. And let's click over to the PortalPowerTV version. Again, we're the undead, so thankfully we got the undead class made at the Skylanders Imaginators, because 3 of your top 3 are all like the undead here. So,
Right.
So this is a pretty an early one, right, for you?
Yeah, it was somewhat early. I mean, I did Sans actually and Papyrus, which are the Undertale characters, first. They were the first ones. And then I actually was wanting to make Deadpool for over 3 weeks. And it's all because the part that I needed, I knew the only best legs that there could be for this character were the Wasteland legs. Those are the ones that you could only get by beating Chaos on Nightmare mode. And I was playing it, so I just couldn't get, I didn't have time to get there. So I literally took a crystal to a friend of mine's house. I think you know Jojo Pet.
Yes.
He lives here in Austin, close to where I live, and I drove down to his place, and I put the legs on the crystal and then drove back home with them. And so when I started with my crystal, I already had it with the legs already on the crystal, and I finished building it from there. Just because I couldn't wait anymore to make this video. I mean, I knew with the popularity of Deadpool that this would be a popular video, and I knew it was a great character. So, yeah, it was just one that I just had an instinct about it and just said, hey, this character is going to do really well. And sure enough, it's exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, the Deadpool it was great, and I'm sure people, you were sort of saying what the comments are like. I'm sure people got to be impressed with this one in the comments, right? What was it? Is there like a 50-50 split, or is there more praise than there is? Yeah,
on this there was definitely more praise on this one. Unlike Sans is mostly the negative side of stuff, and and I guess, but a comment counts as a comment to YouTube, which is a good thing. But the Deadpool character, I was like, hey, that looks great. And a lot of, of course, I started chirping them out during the videos, and a lot of the kids responded that they used their creator app and actually received the signal and downloaded them into there, and I thought that was neat, because that was one of the first few that I had done that with, and the response for chirping it was really, really high and fun. So.
Yeah, if you're I'll have links to PortalPowerTV's YouTube channel. If you check him out, he usually does the chirp, so you can get that sound effect on your app. The app is free, so if you want to have it on your creator thing. And then, so that was a good tip, though. If you have a friend that has a part unlocked, you bring your creation crystal over there, you can snag it. Just want to follow up with that, though. If you, as far as I understand, if you don't have that unlocked, that part, and you take it off, don't you sort of lose that or something?
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah,
I actually tested that before I messed with it, and I put a part on there that I didn't have, and I put the crystal on the game, and I took the part off, and I realized that the part disappeared, and I was like, oh no. So luckily I'd already found that out before I got those legs, because otherwise I'd have had to drive back up there again to go get them. But yeah, if you haven't unlocked the part and it's on a crystal, and you put a toy or a crystal on you go to your friend's house, and you put the crystal on their portal, you'll be able to play your character exactly the way you designed it. But if you accidentally or for some reason figure you're going to change it up while you're at their house, and you take a part off that you don't have unlocked at your house and put it on, you'll lose it, and so you'll have to wait until you can unlock it until they'll be able to put it back on.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that Skylanders has some ups and downs, and sometimes there's these things you don't figure out till after the fact, and you're just like, no,
yeah.
You want to pull your hair out or something. So
well, it's like the names. If I put the name on it in like the Sir Hoodington guy, if I take it to my friend's house, it's not going to say Sir Hoodington. It'll just say that it's a Fire Knight at your friend's house. So I don't really understand why they decided to do that. Some people have made speculation as to, it's to prevent you from putting bad words and whatever. And I don't really know if that's the case. It's just the game hasn't had the ability to have nicknames carry over for several years. And so it's not going to take that with it, I think.
Yeah, that's another thing. We'll see what happens. 2017 is just around the corner. Hopefully, we'll get an announcement talking about Skylanders Imaginators Part 2, or something coming out. So cool. Let me show a screenshot of Portal Power TV on a YouTube channel. Again, this is old now. It says on here 29K. So again, congrats. I'm very excited for you passing 30K and beyond. I'll make sure I'll put links to his channel, his Twitter up there. Is there anything anything you're sort of cooking? Any ideas coming up for the 2017? Do you know who you're going to create next? I mean, you don't have to spoil it and tell me, but have you already brainstormed that?
Yeah, I just did Godzilla this morning, and so that got posted. And then I had a few more that I made last night, and I had a technical error, and something happened to those videos. I'm gonna have to remake them. So I actually have to completely erase the crystal and start over. And I'll have to remake those videos. But tonight I'll be live streaming, and I'm not sure if I'll probably create a character during the live stream. But then I'll probably also chirp out a lot of my other Imaginators from the past during that live stream. But I think the funnest or the best part about it is that I have a code from Activision for a free 3D printed Skylander, and I get to give that away during the live stream tonight.
All right, and what time is that? We're Central Time.
I set it, Central Time. I set it for the stream to start somewhere between 7 and 9, probably closer to 7:30 is when the stream will start, and then it'll probably just be an hour at most.
Awesome. All right, so you guys want to check that out? Get yourself a chance to win a code there for 3D printing figure. How many of those do you have so far printed up? I saw you unbox a couple so far.
2.
Just 2?
Yeah,
okay.
I've got my Brylander here, and then I couldn't resist, but I had to 3D print Sir Hoodington. just had to do it, and that was also one I did pretty early on.
I think I may grab your chirp and print up a Psy. Would you be okay with that if I grabbed your chirp?
Absolutely. What's funny is I have a Psy on order.
Oh, okay.
I did 3D print. I did, but absolutely, and that's what I've told everybody to do. If they really like the character that I make, they can chirp it, transfer it into the Creator app, and they can, if nothing else, they can order a card for only $15. Or if they're willing to pay, if they like the character enough and pay $50, they can 3D print it. So. Sir Hoodington is right there, and they can 3D print one. For me, this was just an iconic one that I think you just have to have because of the game, and it's their primary mascot. And then, of course, my first design. I invented or designed this one back when both you and I and everybody was at E3, getting to play the game for the first time around. This was the one I designed way back when, and I recreated him once the game came out and 3D printed it. And, the only other one I 3D printed or have on order is the Psy, is to have the banana head guy from the cartoon. So.
Yes, Activision went bananas. What do you want to show me?
Well, that's just the Brylander shirt came in, so that's the shirt from the Creator app as well. So it actually took a lot longer than the 3D print to get here, which wasn't supposed to, but it did.
Yeah. I think it's different companies doing the cards and the T-shirts and the printing. So cool. All right. Well, hey, once again, congrats, 30K. Congrats on all the awesome success, the subscribers, you guys. If you haven't checked out PortalPowerTV, it's definitely one of my favorite, Skylander channels. Just being creative and fun and sharing the whole community vibe and giving away some stuff and everything. So happy New Year to you, Brylander. And
thank you, sir.
I look forward to seeing what happens in 2017.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year. And shout outs to all you awesome Portal Masters, Toy Move Game Bros, Ramir, Hamza, Alfblitz, Connie, Frynut, Skylander King says Happy New Year, Rob. Thank you, all you awesome Portal Masters.
You mentioned a minute ago, I heard you say Frynut was in the chat. he actually has a very brand new channel. I mean, green. And he's had a little explosion himself making these recreated characters. So you might go and check out some of those. I noticed that he had quite a few of those. So
okay,
that looked really good. And I think probably the only other channel that's impressed me that's really young is I don't know if are you familiar with Jap28?
I've checked that out before. Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
His collection is one that slaughters mine as far as his collection, because he's got not just the characters, he's got his entire house is decorated with Skylanders. So it was pretty impressive. So anyway, shout outs to him because that's impressive.
Yeah. There's it's time is sort of a factor, and it's hard to sort of keep tabs on everybody. But when I can, I try and see what other cool videos people are putting up and stuff like that. So if you guys have some cool links or videos you're making, just tweet at me the links, and I'll be sure to check them out. So all right, let me wrap this video up. Thanks a bunch. Give yourselves all a Portal Master rank up, and we'll see you guys next time.